Hello everyone, my name is Joan Dada, the resident pastor of RCCG Open Heaven Parish here in Accrington, United Kingdom. I welcome you to our YouTube channel. The word you're about to listen to right now, I'm very certain is going to bless you in a huge way, so do well to share the video. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the videos, and turn on your notification button so you don't get to miss out each time a new word is uploaded. And I look forward to hearing your testimonies. Let's dive in. Ezekiel chapter 22 and verse 30. Ezekiel 22 and verse 30. He says, I sought for a man among them who would make a wall and stand the gap before me on behalf of the land, that I should not destroy it, but I found no one. There used to be this program in those days, back home when I was in Nigeria. I'm sure a lot of us may have seen it. The Ultimate Search from Golda. So they search for this treasure, and whoever finds it wins that show. And it will interest you that they are not the first person that has carried out the Ultimate Search. My topic for this morning is the Ultimate Search, because God is in search of a man. He says, I sought for a man among them. Among them, in your community, he came in and he began to search for a man. In your family, he came in and he began to search for a man. In your bloodline, he came in, he began to search for a man. In your organization, he came in, he began to search for a man. He said, I searched for a man who would make a wall and stand in the gap before me on behalf of the land, on behalf of the community, on behalf of the family, on behalf of the organization, on behalf of the church, on behalf of that department. I sought for a man who will stand before me on behalf of everything I've mentioned, that I should not destroy it, but I found no one. I love how the Easy Translation puts it. It says, I tried to find a man who would help me save the land. I'm like, God is in need of help? God needs help too. A whole God. How can God need help? By making a wall. So God was in search of a man. And beloved, I've come to announce to you this morning, God is still in search of a man. He is still in search of a man. And he's searching for this man for a purpose. Because he did not just say, I sought for a man. He tells you what he wants the man to do when he finds the man. He's searching for a man who will build a wall. God, you are searching for a man who will build a wall. I don't understand. A wall. It sounds very inconsequential. But that tells you the importance of a wall. If you have read the book of Nehemiah, you would remember when Nehemiah was told that the walls of Jerusalem were broken down, that Nehemiah mourned. Scripture describes that he mourned, he grieved, he cried. And someone would think, why would you cry? Do you know, until someone has understanding of what is of value to you, they don't understand your pain, your reaction towards that thing. Some people might say you're overreacting. This is just a wall. But they don't understand the value, because you understand the value. So that is why you react the way you react. Because you understand the value. But somebody else might not understand the value, and they would take with levity, lightly, what you are mourning over, or what you're even rejoicing over. Because to them it's nothing. It's meaningless. So every other person heard that the wall of Jerusalem was broken down, but they did not cry. They just thought, oh, the wall is broken down, oh, the wall. I'm sure the person had been thinking about, oh, wow, we need to find the money now. But he understood the implication of a broken wall. And that was why he grieved. He said, now we are naked. Now we are susceptible to every attack of the enemy. Now we are vulnerable. Now we no longer have an identity. Because that's what a wall is. A wall is an identity. A wall is fortification. A wall signifies power, strength. A wall is like a coin with two sides. It is both defensive and offensive. It is protective and restrictive. So it protects those who are within the wall. And it restricts invaders and parasites from coming in. So he understood this. We have lost our protection. We have lost our covering. Because everything is inside that wall. Your home, your business, your career, your ministry, your future, everything is within the wall. So if the enemy cannot gain access to the wall, they cannot gain access to your marriage. They cannot gain access to your finances. They cannot gain access to your health. They cannot gain access to your life. They cannot gain access to anything that concerns you, because there is a wall that protects you, that shields you, that covers you. So he grieved for this. And God is saying here, I am in search for a man who would build a wall of protection round about their family, who will build a wall of defense round about their homes, round about their children, who would say no to invaders, who would say no to parasites, to demons, and say no, we are covered here. He was looking for that man that would build that defense for his home. He said, I sought for a man. I looked here and there. But you see, as important as the wall was, the man to build the wall was more important than the wall. Even though God wanted a wall to be erected, he wanted a wall to be built and raised, he needed a man to do it. So the man for the job is more important than the job itself. That goes to tell me that me and you are very important in God's agenda. Me and you, we are not random at all. We are not an afterthought. God did not just think. He carefully and intentionally placed us where we are all placed. The geographical location you find yourself, God intentionally placed you there. When I had issues with the immigration, I was taken to somewhere in Liverpool. If any of you have gone, a lot of you are just came from COS, you are just very lucky, you don't know these stories. Dickiness, you relate with me, Abby? Oh, yeah. At least I have someone that relates. Now, I was in that place, and the following day, we were to be taken to different locations, and I had a dream. So they had told me the previous day, we had received a letter, so I was going to Oldham. So that's what the letter said, and that's what the immigration people said. They were taking me to Oldham. And I googled Oldham. Okay, it's close to Manchester, at least. It's almost like Wolverhampton, because Wolverhampton is a big city. My children say that's where they are from. They are from Wolverhampton, okay. So I looked at the place, it looked okay. And I had a dream that night. I'm not saying I'm not going Oldham. You are going, I can't even remember the name of the place. It sounded very villagey, very, So in the morning when they came, they said, oh, sorry, Joan, you're no longer going Oldham. You're going Blackburn. Then I googled Blackburn. I said, no wonder I could not even remember the name of the village God told me. Oh, Blackburn. Oh, God. It's not the Blackburn that we see now. It was a village. But do you know that it was not by mistake that I came to Blackburn? So with God, everything is intentional. That's why I just said that little story. Everything is intentional. Where he wants you to begin, where he wants to get rooted, where he wants you to grow, where he wants you to serve, where he wants you to be planted. With God, there is no error. The family he places you in, be it the poorest or the richest, there is no error in God. Me and you are not random at all. Quickly go to Job 10:10. Let me show you something there. We did not happen without God's conscious decision. He carefully thought it out. She needs to be in Blackburn because at so and so time I have need for her. And he moved me here. If I had forced myself to go to any other big city, I will not be walking in the will of the Father all. So before you move, ask God. Because wherever you are there on purpose or a purpose. Job 10:10 in the New Living Translation. Oh, I love it. Is there any way you can put NLT? NLT says, you guided my conception and formed me in the womb. You guided my conception. To guide means to lead. To guide means to direct. Now, when intercourse takes place, about 4 million to 1.2 billion sperm cells is released. And you know, it's not all that sperm cells that forms a child, it's just one. So God is saying, even when about 40 million or 1.2 billion of sperm cells were released during intercourse for you, and the rest were running helter-skelter, I guided you. You were that singular one. I moved, directing your step. Don't go with the rest. The rest, they will just go wherever. I will not see them again. You go this way. When you go this way, you will land in the egg. And you will become you. He intentionally guided you that you made it through. He caused you intentionally to be that singular sperm out of 40 million or 1.2 odd billion. To be the one that made it safely to your mother's womb. Out of 40 million. I love that scripture. Whenever I look at it, I say, whoa, I am a survivor. I survived 40 billion. I'm a survivor. I am a survivor, because the rest were just scrambling here and there, but God carefully, intentionally guided my conception, guided your conception, that you should be born at the time you were born. Because there's a purpose for your life. Because there's an assignment on you. So there is no error about you at all. So in as much as God needs the job to be done, He cannot do the job without you. He cannot do the job without a man. So He's in search for a man that will do the job. He's in search for a woman that will do the job. So when I'm talking about man here, I am not being gender specific. When God said, let us make man, He was talking about both the female man and the male man. So when I'm saying the man, because I'm going to be using the man a lot, just realize I'm not speaking to a specific gender. I'm talking to both the female man and the male man. So tell yourself, I am not random. You don't even sound like you believe it yourself. You are not random. God needs you to fulfill His purpose. His own purpose. He needs you to fulfill His purpose. God's system is collaborative in nature. God's system is collaborative in nature. He runs a partnership system of government. He's not a lone ranger. He does not walk alone. When He wanted to create man, He said, let us. He did not just start to do everything. Nobody was questioning His God after all. But He said, let us. Because He runs in partnership. I beg your pardon, collaboration. So He said, let us. When He needed Christ to come to earth, to redeem man, He needed man that would also make it possible for Christ to come to earth. He did not just say because He is God. He can come down. But He needed man to make it, to partner with Him, to collaborate with Him, to bring His plan to pass. When He said, in fact, I was reading Exodus 3, and verse 8 is so funny, yet so powerful. You can just put it there, Exodus 3 and verse 8. When the children of Israel were crying in the wilderness that they needed help, He said, I have heard your crying by reason of your taskmaster, and I have come down. Please, who who saw God? Come on, media, walk with me. Who saw God come down? Did you see God come down in Egypt? He said, and I am come down to deliver them. Me and you did not see God come down. But who did He come down through? Moses. He came down through Moses. It is almost impossible for God to carry out anything on earth without me and you. He needs our partnership. He needs our collaboration to carry out whatever it is He wants to carry out on earth. So you are so important in the grand scheme of things when it comes to God's agenda. You are more than important. So don't look down on yourself. You are more than important. Our text says, I tried to find a man who would help me to save the land by making a wall and standing in the gap. Then I would not have to destroy it. So we've established that God was looking for this man, a man. He wanted a wall to be raised. And we've established why he wanted this wall to be raised. Because your wall, like I said earlier, is your covering. Your wall is your defense, is your safety, is your protection. Listen, we are living in dangerous times. And it will be more dangerous to live a life without a wall around you. You will be so susceptible to the attack of the enemy that you won't even know where to run to. You'll be open to everything the enemy throws. Fiery darts, flood, fire, storm, hail, whatever it is, if there is no wall around you. So God is saying, I am looking for that man that will be the reason destruction does not come to that family. I am looking for that man that will be the reason destruction does not come to that community. The reason destruction does not come to this organization. Destruction does not come to the church. Destruction does not hit the children, does not hit the spouse, does not hit the mother, does not hit the father. I am looking for that man. A man that will be the reason I withhold my anger. A man that will be the reason I withhold my judgment. I am looking for that man that will be the reason I release my mercy and my blessing. I am looking for that man. The search is still on. I am looking for that man. Sometimes the disasters we go through, we face in our lives, in our families, is because there was no man. There was no man to stand in the gap. God says, I want to help. I don't want to see you cry. I don't want to see you go through pain, but I found no one to stand in the gap. I found no one to raise a wall. When he wanted to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, he looked for a man. A man that would be the reason he spared Sodom and Gomorrah, but there was no man. There was no man. Sometimes the pain we go through in our families, the loss, it would have happened if someone stood up and said, not in this place, devil. Not in this home, devil. Not in this family, devil. He just needs someone that will rise and take their stand and stand as guard, as a watchman, and say, not in this place. But he found no one. He's looking for a man that he can trust with dreams and revelation. When I show you this thing, what do you do with it? When I give you this information, what do you do with it? Do you sleep on it? Or are you just happy? Oh, I dream a lot. I see. What do you do with things you see? Some people take pride. I dream. If I just dream, it happens. That's stupidity. Because he has shown you the negative things. So you can stand guard and destroy it. So don't be happy when it comes to pass. That means you did not do your job. You are a field watchman. You didn't do your job. Because he said that whatever you bind on earth. Now, I love how he said amplified, because he said it would have already been bound in heaven. So God is looking for who will come into partnership with him over that thing which has already been bound in heaven. Because failure has already been bound in heaven concerning me. Disgrace has already been bound in heaven concerning me. Disaster, dishonor, everything negative has already been bound in heaven concerning me. So when I'm doing it here on earth, I'm only coming to agreement with what has already taken place in heaven concerning me. So he's looking for a man that when he reveals, you come into agreement and say, nah. He said, with long life he has satisfied me. He said, he has delivered my soul from death, my eyes from tears, and my feet from falling. You come to agreement and partnership with the word. Then it becomes endorsed and a done deal. But he said, I looked, but I found no one. No one to stand at the watch. No one to pray. No one to intercede. No one to mediate. No one to cry for mercy. No one to intercede. No one. So disaster just had to happen. Disaster just had to happen. The man that God is looking for is so important. Many people have been saved because they came into association with the man. Many people have been destroyed. The man is two-sided, but we're not going to go there. Today we are focusing on the positive one. Many have also been destroyed because they came into association or in contact with the man. People were going on their business trip without any drama. Jonah jumped on the boat. What happened? They encountered loss. Why? The wrong man was in the boat. So many have encountered losses because of the man. And many have encountered safety, promotion, deliverance, healing because of the man. last week, I don't know how many of us had this news about the Delta airline that was going to the US that almost crashed. Now, my mentor's brother was in that aircraft. And he said to me, 2 days before that day, he was just in his study doing his thing. And all of a sudden, he saw his brother in a vision. He saw this very high scraper building collapse on the brother, and they could not find his brother's body. They could not find the corpse. And he began to pray. So he prayed for a bit. It was like, what kind of vision is this? He prayed for a bit. And he stopped. God said, you've got to pray until that vision disappears from your eyes. And he taught me something. I shared it with the women. He said, I had to pray through. Sometimes we wake up from those things God show us and we pray. In Jesus' name, I'm sick. You have not prayed. You have to pray through. Bible says of Elijah, it is the fervent, keyword, fervent, not just prayer. The fervent, it describes the level, the intensity, the gravity of the prayer. He prayed, he said he prayed for over an hour and it cleared. He didn't share it with his brother. 2 days later, that incident happened. So if he did not pray, what would have happened? God is looking for a man he can trust with information. Can I trust you with this information? Will you do something about it? Maybe it was because of that man, his brother in that aircraft, that every other person was saved because somebody prayed. Maybe somebody else to God showed and they prayed. So a lot of times people get into accidents because they were in the vehicle with the wrong man. And a lot of times people are delivered because they were in the train with the right man. God is looking for a man he could trust. We are taking life so randomly. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. You have been placed in your family on assignment for an assignment, on purpose for a purpose. No matter how you wish you came from another family, it's too late. God placed you there. And at the end of the day, he will put a demand on the assignment he sent you that family for. What did you do? What have you done? What have you done? He said of David, I have found a man after my own heart. I have found a man. He endorsed David. Why? David passed the test. The sheep came. David gave his life. And the lion came rather. David gave his life for an animal. David fought the lion. He didn't even think, oh my God, it's a lion. He fought the lion. His life was the least thing he thought about. The first thing he thought about was the lives of the sheep he was taking care of. The bear came. It was the same thing. And God said, I have found the man. I can trust him with bigger assignments. I can trust him with the nation. You have not passed a little test and you're waiting for God to trust you with millions or thousands or whatever. It won't work. Because you've proved to him that he cannot trust you with even the few hundreds you receive. He can't trust you with it. You hold it to yourself. You keep your money to yourself. You keep your giftings to yourself. You keep your talent to yourself. He says, I can't trust you with it. I can't trust you. Abraham proved himself so trustworthy that God said, I know him. He will teach his children. I know him. I cannot do anything without telling my friend Abraham, let's have this child. I'm going to Sodom and Gomorrah now to destroy it. What do you think? He trusted in that much because he found a trustworthy person. God, we are saying, God, I want to trust you, I trust you. But God is also looking for who he can trust in me and in you. Can God trust you with power? Can God trust you with riches, with wealth? Can God trust you with the position you are trying to step into? Can he trust you with that position? Can he trust you? He's in need of a man. But you've got to make yourself trustworthy. Trustworthy. 2 days ago, I had this dream, Friday. And I was going somewhere. And I saw Christ on the cloud. So bright, so shiny, So it's indescribable. And I looked back, and on the other side, behind me on the cloud, thick darkness with this demonic figure. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. How come in front of me? And I woke up and I kept pondering over that vision, over that revelation. I kept pondering over it. Just as Christ has said it's your year of light, it does not mean that darkness will not attempt to come at you. That was a simple interpretation. The simple interpretation. It does not mean that darkness will not attempt to come at you. Darkness will attempt to do everything to take you out. So when God shows you, are you going to tell God, yes, I am ready to stand up. This thing will not be too important to me. This movie will not be too important to me. This job will not be too important to me. I am ready to arise to stand in the gap. A lot of husbands have been saved because of the wives they married. Because they married the man. Remember, I'm saying the man is not gender specific. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians 4, I think verse 17 or so, he says that the unbelieving husband will be sanctified by the wife and vice versa. A lot of women too have been delivered and saved because of the man they married. God is looking for a man in your bloodline that would rise and break generational curses. That will rise and say enough is enough of this cycle and this pattern. That will change the narrative of their bloodline. He's looking for a man that where the forefathers had committed sin, iniquity, you don't know what your forefathers did. There was a time I went to serious prayer. He told me some things that my forefathers did. And I was crying for mercy. So I could become a partaker of the punishment because I was not there. He said, no more will it be said of this proverb that the parents have eaten sour grapes and the children sit on edge. I said, no, God. You said, no more will it be said. No more. So, Lord, I will not bear the sins of my ancestors. Mercy. He's looking for someone who will rise and begin to destroy what the enemy has written concerning that bloodline. He's looking for you. He's looking for me. So a lot of things that we are waiting on God for, God is waiting on you for it. You are saying, I'm waiting on God, and God is saying, now, I am waiting on you. I am waiting on you. When God finds a man, that man becomes the man. Because that man goes from a man to the man is identifiable. You can miss a man, but you can never miss the man. I have even abandoned my notes. I don't even know why I am. When you ask a single person who hasn't gotten married and is matured enough to get married, what are you still doing? What do they answer you? I'm waiting for the one. Does it mean they haven't seen many girls or many guys? They've seen, but they've not seen the one. When they see the one, they think, they believe, I want to spend the rest of my life with. He or she no longer becomes a man or the woman, a woman. It becomes the man. God is looking for a man that will become the man. The man that is the reason he does A, B, C, and D. He said of Solomon, let's quickly go there. I'm going to be rounding up. I don't even know why I'm in these notes. 1 Kings 11, verse 11 to 13. He says, so now the Lord said to him, speaking of Solomon, since you have not kept my covenant and have disobeyed my decrees, I will surely tear the kingdom away from you and give it to one of your servants. Verse 12. But for the sake of your father David. But for the sake of your father David, notwithstanding according to King James, in thy days I will not do it for David thy father's sake. Not because of you. You don't deserve this mercy. But because of David, I will extend mercy to you. He says, for the sake of your father David, I will not do this while you are still alive. I will spare you this disgrace. A lot of us have been spared disgrace because of the man in our family standing in the gap. There's so much disgrace, pain, humiliation that would come to families if you don't rise to stand in the gap and say, Lord, mercy. And God will say, because of Joan, because of you, mention your name, because of me, I will show mercy to this family. He said, for David, my servant's sake, I will withhold this judgment. He says, I will take the kingdom away from your son. And even so, imagine, he says, and even so, I will not take away the entire kingdom. I will let him be king of one tribe for the sake of my servant David. Solomon received pardon. Solomon received grace because of the man. I don't know which man you decided to be. Joshua chapter 6 tells us of a man called Achan. He was also the man in the negative way. Because of him, his entire family, his in-laws, people who married innocently into family, you need to arise and pray. Because you may think, my family is good. What about the family you married into? His daughter's in-laws, his son's in-laws, every one of them, the ground swallowed them because of the sin of Achan. One man. Which man have you decided to be? Which tent have you decided to pitch hearing this message? I don't want to be the one that would sit down, fold my hands and do nothing, and the enemy will be playing pretend with my family, making mockery of them. You have to arise and say to the devil, not on my watch. Not on my watch, death. Not on my watch, Satan. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. He's looking for that man. The search is still on. Time is fast spent. The search is still on. That is the message I sent me to tell somebody this morning. He needs you to rise and be that man. Gross darkness will cover the earth. But he needs a man that will arise as light over his or her family. A man that will arise and say, my children will not be meat for the enemy. Their destinies will not be meat for the enemy. My husband will not be meat for the enemy. My wife will not be meat for the enemy. He placed you as couple on purpose for a purpose. It's not just about love. Listen, when it comes to spiritual things, marriage is not just about love. There is so much purpose behind your marriage. It's not just love. I love you too, I love you too. No. It's bigger than that. Yes, love is good, but it's bigger than that. It's deeper than that. God is going to ask every one of us, what did you do? Sometimes when we are crying, just so we can't hear him, he's saying, but I showed you, you did nothing about it. I informed you, you did nothing about it. You didn't stand in the gap. You didn't raise a wall. You didn't put up a defense. That means you and I have the responsibility to put up a defense and raise a wall of protection over our families. Rise to our feet. I want you to lift up your voice and say, Father, where I have failed as the man in my household, I ask you for your mercy. Lift up your voice and say, Lord, where I have failed as the man, where I have given the enemy room to invade my home, my life, my mind, my health, the lives of my children, my community, Lord, I ask you for mercy. The streets you are living in, you are living there on purpose for a purpose. When destruction comes, because of you, God will pass through that destruction. The organization, you are there on purpose for a purpose. You're not just about to earn an income. There might be somebody there that God said, I sent you there on assignment to win that soul. Say, Lord, don't let me fail you. I come as the man. He looked for a man in Isaiah 6, and Isaiah said, here am I, Lord, send me. The search has been going on for centuries, and God is still searching. God is still searching. I need of a man that will not allow me to destroy the community. Be the reason that destruction eludes your community. Destruction passes over your household. Send me, Lord, send me, Lord, send me, Lord, send me, Lord. Let people escape destruction because of you. Let people succeed because of you. Because Joseph was in the house of Potiphar, the Bible records that Potiphar's house prospered. Because Jacob was in the house of Laban, the house of Laban, the business of Laban prospered. Joseph was a man that God used. He made himself available. And his people, not just his family, survived famine. God is looking for that man that will cause the people in your bloodline to escape destruction and death, to escape sorrow and tears. Make me that man, oh God. I yield. I exchange my weakness. A lot of times, why we are not the man is because we are weak. Say, Lord, I exchange my weakness for your strength. I exchange my weakness for your strength. When it's time to stand the gap, I stand and I pray and I intercede. When it's time to fast, I fast. I will not love sleep unto death. There is a sleep called the sleep of death. The Bible tells of two women. One slept so much that the other lady came and exchanged her dead child for her living child. Some of us have slept so much that a demonic action has taken place over my destiny. Say, Lord, mercy. Mercy, 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 mercy. Hey, Kapariba Role Korea Sanaya. Ha, Jaka Para Papa Seke Pasta. Hey! I talk about praying through. So, Lord, I receive grace to pray through every matter, every situation. I receive grace to pray through. Ah, Paliba Domoko Polianda. I receive grace to pray until I win. I receive grace to pray until change takes place. Job said, all the days of my partner will I wait until my change comes. I receive grace to pray until change comes. Until change takes place. Until deliverance comes. I receive grace. Oh, my Lord, you are not random. God needs to fulfill his purpose in your bloodline. He needs to partner with you to fulfill his purpose in your family. He needs to partner with you to fulfill his purpose where you are in Accrington, where you are in the United Kingdom. He needs you. There was an assignment to carry out in Accrington, and he brought me all the way to Blackburn. You are needed in God's agenda. When Esther got to the palace, she did not get there by mistake. She got there, an assignment to an assignment. Say, Lord, I will not fail the assignment you have called me to. I will not fail the assignment you have called me to. I surrender as a man. I come as a man. I am the man for the job. You will not find any better than me. I am the man. I yield. I am the man for the job. I am the man for the job. Hey, Barikapaya, listen, you are the man for the job. No this and no peace, you are the man for the job. Oh, Kasele Borobo Zokeya Teya Satana Manapaya. Akarianda no shake for the Paya Paya. Andara Bazenda Lepodia Kapasaya. Begin to raise a wall of restriction in your family. Raise that wall, build that wall. That's up for a man who raised the wall. Who built the wall? Begin to build the wall. Lift up your voice and build the wall. I am raising my family a wall of defense against the attack of the enemy. I raise my family a wall of protection. I raise my bloodline a wall of safety. Raise that wall and say to the devil, this man of brother, you can't come into my household, you can't come into my family, you can't come into my blood. I raise a wall. I raise a wall. Over my children, I raise a wall. Over their mind, I raise a wall. Over my spouse, I raise a wall. Hey,